Successful Indie Author 5-Minute Focus, episode 208, Talent. People are always concerned or think about, I don't have any talent. Well, stop it. Remember that part about getting something done is 99% perspiration and 1% inspiration? We talked yesterday, we talked about having an idea. Everybody has a great idea that they can turn into a story. But then there's those 1,000 steps to turn it into the story. You've got the idea. That's all it takes. That's the one thing that all the authors have in common is they take that idea, turn it into a compelling story. Those 1,000 steps. People say, I have no talent. Maybe you don't want to take those 1,000 steps. So it's not about talent then. So don't make that excuse or say, hey, he's got all the talent in the family. Well, maybe you're doing other things. If you want to write, you can write. 99% perspiration. Have you ever heard somebody say, they're just lucky? No, they work hard. And talent, hey, they had a good idea and then did something with it. Let it foment, let it bubble, added fire to it, added some spices, put some whipped cream on top. Man, look at it now. Still just the same idea. And what about you? It sucks to have no talent. That's you, isn't it? No talent, mofo. Stop telling those lies because it's not. Everybody has something. Shut up your face. Bag your face. That's the 70s, isn't it? Bag your face. Anyway, don't go there. Don't tell yourself lies about you have no talent and can do nothing. Yes, you do. Even if it's just one chapter. I wrote a post-apocalyptic. I was fascinated by post-apocalyptic stuff. And I wrote one chapter, and it took me months and months of limited free time. I was working full-time to write one chapter. Well, after I started writing full-time, I wrote a bunch of books. I went back, I found it. I'm like, hey, let me look at this. My one chapter, it was 2 pages. It took me months to write 2 pages, and it was a little bit disjointed because I'd look at it and I'd write a sentence or something and go on. But that idea was still there. And I looked at my other post-apocalyptic, the full-length books. I'm like, I had those ideas and I put them in this other thing. It's just they weren't ready. It wasn't their time yet. So idea, make something of it. And then all of a sudden, hey, it's a book. Because I looked, I said I wanted to incorporate some of this stuff into my books, but I already had. So anyway, I put that on the shelf and there it is. Now it's a non-fungible token worth, I think, $1.5 million at last count. Okay, I'm making that up. I have no idea. It's just shoved aside, though. Music. Oh, they're so talented. They play the piano or do things like that. Some people pick it up quicker than others, but guess what? It still takes practice, just like writing. I wrote a book and it never sold, so I have no talent. No, not quite. How many books? How many words have you written? How many times have you revised the same words over and over and over? Is that making them any better? That's the perspiration part. Take that idea and extend it. Give it the color, give it texture, give it flavor, give it a smell, and keep expanding on it until you have a story, even if it's just a short story, that then becomes a novelette and grows until it's a real story. We can all tell a story. That's something that I'm hard over on because you see kids, they can tell a story. If you absolutely cannot lie, then write nonfiction. You have Vulcan and do a good job at it because you can't lie. So here it is. Let's lay it out. But you can take a nonfiction story and make it a story. Think about The Goal by Eliyahu Goldratt. That's a complete nonfiction. It's about the theory of constraints, but it's a story. And it reads like a story, and it's easy to read, and it's easy to grasp the concepts that he's teaching in there. And it was a great seller. And it's a good book. Educate and entertain. You can do both. Talent. Everybody is good at something. Use that. Take that idea, help it grow, water it a little bit, get it in the sun, and then go from there. And then add in that 99% perspiration. All of a sudden, you're going to have a book, and you say, hey, maybe I do have some talent. And then people are going to dogpile you and say, oh, my God, it's the worst thing I ever read. Hey, that's what they tell everybody, right? Michelangelo, I'm sure he had his distractors too. Then you write the second book and third book, and all of a sudden people aren't saying that anymore. It's like, hey, I can't wait for your next book. That's talent. And it takes the perseverance to get there and for other people to see it. All right, everybody, you have a great day. You all have talent. Find it. Make the most of it. Peace, fellow humans.